Hello and welcome, my fellow cute rat enthusiasts. It be me, the guy. Today I'm going to be talking in detail about the HaloCraft mod and the development behind it, and just whatever weird facts I want to bring up and show off. Just to start out, this is the first project I worked with Halo 3 on, and I definitely want to say that Halo 3's mod tools are really damn good. They're still kind of a work in progress. There's a lot of stuff that's missing from them. One of the most notable things is that we still don't really have good support for sound, but the actual tools themselves are pretty great. Just to give an example of the thing that I find the most useful out of this whole tool set is that it has live updates. So if I were to edit something with the tag editor, while the tag test is running, it will almost instantaneously and cleanly update in the game, allowing me to quickly test things and rapidly develop things without having to constantly compile and then reopen the game and compile and reopen the game. It's a big improvement from Halo 1, and it's honestly a big improvement over most games I've actually worked with in the past, particularly for doing particle systems, because particle systems are so temperamental. It doesn't really matter what game you're working with. Dark Souls particle systems were the worst. Those were just pain. But for example, if I were to I don't know, turn off shadows on this sign, shadows are gone. Turn the shadows back on, shadows are back. It's it's so rapid, so easy. It's a really good development tool set. This is the standard that I think all games should be running at, but yeah, I just thought I'd show that off. I think I'd probably want to show off the particle editor too, because it's pretty damn cool. Let's see. Let's bring up the particles for the grass shredding, because that one actually has a fair amount of stuff in it. So Halo 1's particle editor was not terrible, but it definitely had a lot. It lacked many things, and it had one of the big problems with it was that it's very easy to break it, and then your particles are just gone. And I would constantly have that problem of I broke it and I don't know what's wrong, and I just can't fix it. Halo 3, the particle systems are much clearer on what everything does, and all the settings are. A lot of the things have defaults, so you don't have to actually fill out every field. You can just leave things as standard if you want. And it's pretty clean. I do think this is a very good system. It does take a little while to learn what everything does and to get the desired effect out of it, but it's a pretty nice little system. It has a lot of customizability. I imagine you could create some really cool stuff with this if you spend some time, because there's a lot of features that are pretty complicated. Things making particles orbit around stuff and whatnot. It's just an interesting little system. I quite like this, and like I said, it does take a little bit to get used to. It took me a minute to figure out what everything did, but the fact that I can just edit stuff in here in real time and then have it update in game, let's just go ahead and do something silly. You just gotta give me a second. There we go. We're gonna change the particle count to 999. This is gonna crash the game. Here we go, boys. So when I break a grass block now, it's gonna be Lamau. That's what I mean. It's just so quick and easy to test and update things. You don't have to sit here all day and constantly recompile and test. It's a really good system. It made developing a lot easier and a lot cleaner, a lot more fun. And I like it, and I just wanted to start with that because that's a good starting point for the video, is just talking about the actual development process. It's good. We'll be talking about shaders later, so I won't bring that up just yet. But yeah, let's go straight into the science, because this is the thing I teased at the end of the video as being a Lamau, and it's fairly Lamau. So these signs, I'm gonna go ahead and enable. Let's see. Let me. Where to even start? I think I'm going to start at the. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start with the actual function itself. One moment. All right, so here we go. At the very basic explanation of this is the object scripted function A goes into a function called random, which is currently set to 0.5, and that determines the text in the sign. It's obviously a lot more complicated than that, but this one is at 0.18, and it's this like each that number is the random seed for the sign text. But how in the world are we generating that sign text? Well, to start, there is a gigantic texture in here. I mean, you might have to go back further. Let's start at the very basic point, which is the I'm gonna have to open up GIMP and open up the actual like raw texture file. Also, I'm gonna publish the source files for this mod. Like, I'm gonna like upload like the 30 gigabytes of like source files. So if anyone wants to like look at it and like maybe build on it or learn from it, that's gonna be a thing. It might take me a minute to do that. If I forget to do it, remind me. It's very much I am gonna try and do that, but it is kind of hard to. It could be a bit of a pain to remember every little thing I need to do. Sorry, looking for this file. It's just somewhere on my other monitor. Give me one moment. We're almost there. I swear I'm trying. There's a million files for this mod. It's kind of ridiculous. Here it is. And some of these aren't even used. I actually deprecated a few of these. Yeah, so here is the patron names list. Yeah, it's fairly long. And the way this is set up is very deliberate. To give an explanation of kind of how this is working, I'm going to go ahead and also open up the bitmaps for the grass. There we go. So let's start out with like just explaining this. So why do I have a blue image with some blocks that have like pixels in them? Well, these are actually the these bits are actually bits of grass, and they are the bits of grass you see when you shoot a piece of grass in the game. This is what you would call a sprite sheet, or like a bitmap sequence, whatever you want to call it in this game engine. That's what it is. And the way these are done is you have a blue base, and then you put the textures into your blue base in a sequence like this, basically a grid, and it turns it into a bitmap sequence in the engine. And we're doing the same thing for these names, in that we have a gigantic blue base with a bajillion names in it that are all individual bitmaps in a sequence. And the same for the names of the houses: Rad Cool House, Humble Abode, etc. And what this does is when I import these bitmaps into the very large file that is, sorry, one second. Patrons, bitmaps, patron names combined. Yes, this one. Is what happens is when we import this gigantic blue bitmap, what we get is a zillion bitmaps in a sequence. So each name is one index in this sequence, which gives me a way to randomly pick names. But you're also probably wondering, and this is most important, how did I get this image? Because the first thing I thought was, I don't want to type this many names by hand, and I don't want to build this by hand. Like, doing this by hand would actually take like 5 hours. There's no way I'm doing that. So as a programmer, my solution was JavaScript, and boyo, JavaScript really is the solution sometimes. So what I did was I pulled the names off Patron using a spreadsheet, and then I put them into an array. And then I wrote a little program that generates a HTML page with CSS and JavaScript that is what I need. For example, this is what it looks like in a browser. So I quite literally generated the bitmap I needed using JavaScript, and it's paged. So like if I were to change the page number to 1, it will do the next like 20 names in the sequence. And I just did each one, took a screenshot of it. And I originally I was going to not do screenshots. I was going to render the page using an API, but it turns out rendering HTML pages to like large scale images is actually really painful to do, and I decided it wasn't worth the massive amount of effort involved. So I scrapped that idea, and I just had my friend who has a 4K monitor take the screenshots for me, so they were in 4K, so I got the highest quality I could out of it. I then ran into a little problem. So I don't know how many people know about this. This is like a weird thing with Windows and probably other operating systems as well, but in particular Windows is where I noticed it. Yeah, I don't need it. I don't need that big of an image. So if you take a screenshot of actual text, did you know that it anti-aliases with color like this? And like, even though this font is technically perfectly blocky, like it's a Minecraft font. It's pixel perfect blockiness, but Windows says no, we need to anti-alias this, and like does this to the text, which is very annoying. So I had to work around this, and the way I worked around this is by rendering the text at a higher font size and then shrinking it back down to like basically circumvent the anti-aliasing to some degree. It doesn't look perfect, but it's close enough that you can't tell in game. It's a very odd thing. It's apparently called clear type font, or like subpixel anti-aliasing is what it's called. Just weird Windows shit. Can't turn it off. I tried. I looked at like a whole bunch of settings and stuff, but can't do that. they want you to use that, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, we got around that eventually, and we got this giant image and we imported it. I was actually kind of surprised that the game engine accepted this, because I didn't think it would be okay with a bitmap sequence of 400 bitmaps, but it was fine with that actually. And this actually gives me an idea for so I'll just go ahead and say it. I am gonna do a Cursed Halo 3 eventually. I know other people have done it, but they didn't do it like I'm gonna do it. So this gave me an idea. I could probably bitmap sequence like videos into the engine, and as a complete tangent, don't be surprised if I manage to put the entire Rick Astley music video of Never Gonna Give You Up into the engine with video and sound, because it will probably happen. Can't say when, but it will probably happen at some point. But anyways, yeah, you can import large sequences like this, and once we have that sequence, well, the next step was obviously to write a shader that can actually use that sequence, and we're gonna go ahead and bring that up. So this is our shader for the patron names, and it's kind of a clever, stupid solution in that it just looks for so the way shaders work is it's just a bunch of fields. You can customize them. You can add fields you need if you need a special field like wrapping or index or filtering. We're using point filter to make it look Minecrafty in this case, and then we have this base map frame index, which basically tells the game engine what frame of that bitmap sequence you want. So do you want the 30th bitmap or the 10th bitmap or the 100th bitmap? And we have it set up with a function that basically just asks the object it's attached to, what is your random? And random is, in this case, the signs function for scripted objects. So we're importing the scripted object function A and exporting random, and then that tells the shader we want whatever is random between 0 and 392, and that tells the sign which bitmap in that sequence to pick. And the last step of this puzzle was assigning that value properly. So in the game engine, that's a scripted value, so you can actually just edit it with the console. And for example, if we were to set object set function, I think it's object function set. I don't. They love their naming. 0.5. We just change that sign. We could change it to 0.7. I think 0.98 is like, no, it's like 98 is me. I'm one of these. I don't know which one. I think it's 985. No, it's Dwiz. We're gonna get me eventually. It's days. 92, 3. There I am. I did it. So yeah, basically we can set that to whatever we want. And what's written in the actual code for this map is there is a script, and I'm gonna have to go find that because I do not have it open right now. There is a script. Let's see. In data, levels, multi, village scripts, signs. This script right here, which when the map starts, it sets the function values to a real value between 0 and 1, which is to say a value that is a floating point value, which can be like 0.3 or 0.7. And then it sends a... So this works for the host, but the people who are not the host of the game, this doesn't work because of reasons. So I have this also special script right here. And this is something I discovered while debugging, and it's kind of useful. I think some modders who are interested in like scripting and multiplayer might find this interesting. MP wake script is the only way that you can force clients of a multiplayer game to execute a script like on demand. It's very difficult to write scripts that synchronize properly in multiplayer, so this is very useful because this is the like one way I found to do this. But yeah, when the game starts, the host tells the clients, the other players connected to the game, to also run this same exact code through this other script name. So it's not super complicated, but this right here is a pretty magical code that I think more people could make use of. It has a lot of potential for things in the future. And that only really applies to multiplayer though. That doesn't apply to like campaign or co-op campaign. It's just like regular multiplayer stuff. And yeah, that's basically how this works. And like I said, this took a whole day. This was a whole day project getting this working. I thought that the random signs were gonna be a like, 1 hour, 2 hour little task, get that done, be done. But it turned into a project to figure this out, and it works. It doesn't synchronize properly sometimes. The random selection of the value is actually random in the sense that it's different for every player in the game. I don't really mind that. It's like a trade-off of this is the only reasonable way to do this, because the other way to do it would be like by hand creating 400 signs. I'm not doing that. So yeah, this was the only reasonable way to go about this. And yeah, that's one thing. I have a list of things to talk about. Let's talk about shaders. Let's talk about shaders. The shading for this mod, oh boy. So this went through a few iterations. Now, obviously Minecraft, for those of you who've played Minecraft, which is everyone, Minecraft is a very flat rendered game. It is quite literally just flat, nearest filter texturing, like all diffuse, no nothing, just like some basic lighting. I could have done that, but I chose not to because Halo 3 is like sort of PBR. It's like PBR in a very early stage, and it's a nice rendering engine, and you can do cool things. So you'll probably not notice this much unless you're paying attention to this, but like there's specularity to these blocks, and it's like custom done. I actually had to make specular maps for every single Minecraft texture. The Minecraft textures are using anastrophic filtering, which works pretty well. I had to do one cheat. I had to cheat pretty hard. So while I could have used point filtering, it would have looked really bad because Halo's engine is just not designed for that. But I will show you guys the thing I'm talking about. So we'll just open up the cobblestone shader. So yeah, I did give these guys proper specular maps. So like you can they actually have some specular properties and some like PBR-ish properties. It's not quite as good as like maybe like ray traced Minecraft is, but ray traced Minecraft is a like recent thing. It's a lot newer rendering engine. So yeah, the settings are pretty mild. I didn't give it like a really strong specular field. I didn't like the grass has like the smallest amount of specular you could possibly imagine. It's like a 1 or 2% specular, but it's still there, and I think it still like helps like give a less flat feel, but it still retains the Minecraft quality you want. Like it's still Minecraft, but it's like slightly more like pretty Minecraft, especially the shadowing. It looks a lot better with like the full scale dynamic shadows. Like it really does help add some qualities to it that look nice. And yeah, I mean, it's just pretty general stuff. Like I said, I went through multiple iterations. I started out with like diffuse only, and then I didn't really like the diffuse only, so I tried one version of specular with like really muted specular maps, and it looked really bad. And then I went through and I redid the whole fucking thing. It took like 5 hours, and I redid all the specular maps. I did them high contrast, and this was the solution I liked the best. I did actually try bump maps as well, or normal maps. I tried, I think I have like one of them here somewhere. I pulled them from some PBR texture pack, because I was just testing and I didn't feel like making them myself at the time. Let's see, they would be in... I think you just need to open up this shader right here. I can show you what that looked like. I did not like it personally, but it was definitely a thing. Oh my god, give me a break. There's so many fucking shaders in here. I'll turn this on and then turn it back off when I'm done. Alright, yeah, there we go. So the normal mapping, I decided not to do, but this is what it would have looked like, sort of. You could barely tell, but like, that is kind of like what it would have looked like to have normal mapping on, I wish I had a better example. Where's somewhere that's like more lit? See better, I think? Yeah, that's a bit closer to what it would have looked like. I can like, hold on. So that's with it on, and that's with it off. Like I said, I decided I didn't like it very much. I thought it looked very un-Minecrafty, so I took it out. I also could have probably tweaked it and made it look better than that. That was like like I said, that was like a quick test just to see, and I just did not vibe with it. But yeah, it's pretty good. I like the Halo 3 shader editor as well. It's very good. It has a lot of options, and it's useful. It really is. Moving on, let's talk about some bugs. Because there are some issues with this mod as well. The big one is like the target limit issue, and you'll only notice this sometimes. Occasionally you'll throw a grenade or blow something up and it won't actually break anything. This is because of target limit, and the basic of this is that when you have an explosion in Halo 3, it will only affect so many objects before it just stops. Basically, like it truncates the list of things it's supposed to blow up, because it's probably just trying to like not overload the physics engine all at once. And so if you throw a grenade into a pile of like 30 blocks, it's probably only going to affect like 15 of them. And if you get like infinite ammo rocket launchers, you will really notice that, because like you'll be blowing stuff up, there'll be debris everywhere, and it'll just be like Lamau. Can I can just get one real quick. Well, that's kind of it. Let me try I'll try to do it this. It's probably not going to work with the Spartan laser because it shoots too slow. But look, just take my word for it. If you just start lobbing like large amounts of grenades, yeah. Ignore all the text. It's just debug stuff. Well, it's not happening here, but trust me, it happens. Yeah, of course it doesn't happen when I want it to. It only happened. Well, that was an example. See, this tree probably should have fallen over, but like I said, it probably hit target limit and didn't affect the tree. Just take my word for it. It does happen. That is a big issue with this, and the way I mitigated it was with portaling setup. So with the target limit issue, it tends to localize to portals. So we have this portaling grid across the whole map, which effectively just subdivides the map into like a zillion pieces, or more in this case, it's like a 25 piece grid. And that helps reduce the issue very slightly, but it's still there. Like I can't completely fix it, but I got it working good enough that I was happy with it eventually. That's another funny issue, actually, is the respawning. This does happen, like, if you have a gun that's up on top of a house and the house breaks, the gun respawns, falls down, and the game thinks that the gun was picked up because it moved away from its spawn point, and then it spawns another one every, like, 30 seconds. It's kind of funny. Doesn't really affect gameplay very much. It's very much just a whatever kind of thing, but it's entertaining. Another cool thing, by the way, too, is that these maps are they support forge, so you can actually forge these maps and change the weapon layout and stuff. You cannot edit the blocks. I decided that would probably be a horrible idea because it would just cause too many issues. But you can change the layout. You can add vehicles if you want. I mean, if you want a Scorpion tank on this map, you are welcome to add one. I don't think there's enough room personally, but that's just me. It's just kind of it just works. And then what else? Let's talk about the green screen map. I actually almost forgot about this because I wrote it down because it's something I did want to bring up. Oh god, what is it? Game start. Yeah, game start, and then it's levels multi green, I think. Yeah, I think that was right. So there are a couple shots in the video that are green screened, and as with every game, I had to create a green screen setup for this because, I over-edit everything. It's just what I do. So I had to create a green screen map. Normally I use reshade, but since I had access to the toolset,
Slayer,
I thought I might as well just do this the right way. And this is basically a perfect green screen. Like, you go in this box and it's green. Just in every direction. Oh, well, I fell out. But you see what I mean. It's a green screen. Normally I just do this in forge. Normally I do this in forge mode because in forge mode you can just place down stuff and you can also, like, it's easier to see. But yeah, I go into MCC, I do stuff, and then I just go into theater mode and, like, record it. It's pretty great. The way this works is it uses a scenery object because we had, like, a global illumination problem that was really funny. I posted on Twitter about that. And then we also the main thing too is that it's like a non-material model thing. So, like, there's a bunch of options for material models in the shaders, but the best option for a green screen apparently is none. And you just it quite literally is a perfect, like, there is no detail, there's no shadows, there's no lighting. It's just the color green. It's great. And I could probably release this if people need it. There was another green screen mod someone else had made, but it wasn't quite as, like, it was a lot more, like, janky. It was like you go into Forge and you place down, like, green boxes and stuff, but this is like a perfect green screen, and that you cannot, there's no issues with chromating this at all. And I thought I'd just show it off because it's kind of neat. Let's talk about map design. All right, let's talk about map design. I'm gonna go into Sapien for this to be a little easier. Loading things. The load times in this game engine are a little bit longer than Halo 1's, like, instantaneous by comparison, but it's not too bad. Dark Souls 1 is infinitely worse to mod in this game. There's no doubt about that. I think the biggest complaint really is just, like, it takes a while for anything to load up on this engine. Compiling is long as hell too. I tell you, man. Like, when you actually build a mod, it takes a while, and the mod files are very large because they include all of the game files. Yeah, it's not ideal, but I think they'll improve it. I think they're going to improve it with time. After all, they have promised we're going to get Steam Workshop support at some point, and when we do, I'll re-release the mods with Steam Workshop. But who knows when that's actually going to happen. Anyways, yeah. So this map is kind of cool. It's obviously it's based off the Minecraft game mode Spleef, where you break the blocks that are underneath your opponent and they fall and die. It's fun. And so one of the things that's really obvious is I did this, like, spawn system where I didn't want to put spawn points on the map because there's no way to guarantee that you wouldn't spawn and then immediately die because there's nothing underneath you. So these spawns, well, okay, hold on. The spawns, I say as they're not in the right place right now. One moment. This is a debug spawn point, so it's different than a real spawn point. It's for single player. I'll just go ahead and oof myself. So these spawn points are on these little platforms, and you have a slime block below you, and you can jump and bounce however you want, and it just bounces you onto the map. And you can angle this however you want. It's very freeform. You know, if you want to go over this way, you can go over this way. And this is a great solution to this problem because it not only adds some like skill and like picking where you're gonna jump onto the map when the map is being broken, but also like allowing you to avoid getting spawn killed by like jumping out this direction or that direction or whatever. And I think that is a very good. I think this is a very good solution to this problem. And you might think the problem is there's an issue where like, oh, you could just shoot them on the spawn point, but there is an invisible barrier that prevents you from doing anything to the spawn points, which goes both ways. So if you're on the spawn point, you also cannot like throw a grenade into the map. And that, I really think this works perfectly. I have not had anyone like exploit this map in any way that I could tell. There was a glitch at one point where you could break blocks you were standing on, but I did fix that with a little force edit. So like, it used to be you could like do, oh, not like that. Certainly not like that. The buttons in debug are different than they are in the real game. I think Q is melee? Yeah, Q. So you used to be able to do that, but it doesn't work anymore. I did patch that out because the beta testers found that. Beta testers found a bunch of shit like that, and I slowly got that worked out. You might think that you'd be able to jump up here, but you cannot. It has a special barrier, which is called a structure. Yeah, one moment, I gotta type this out. It has a soft ceiling, is what it is called. So if you try to jump into this, it pushes you back out. And you cannot, like, properly stand on top of any of this stuff. It will just yeet you back out. There's a lot of soft ceilings in this map to prevent you from getting anywhere you're not supposed to. I'm being a bit of a map Nazi here with this, but, like, I just wanted to make sure there was no way to exploit this map so that you could be unkillable, basically. So I was very, very methodical. And if you try to get on those pieces, it will murder you. It will super murder you. So like if you try to jump down right here, it goes no. You get insta-deaded. So yeah, it's I should probably address that error shit there, the red. For whatever reason, the default Master Chief in Halo 3 has a bunch of errors on him, and they're like benign errors that don't matter. They're like degenerate triangles just don't cause any real trouble, to be honest. It's just a thing. I don't even want to try and explain it. It's a thing. It doesn't matter. So like, no one bothers to fix them, and there's a ton of them. But yeah, this map works really well. It's pretty fun. I have noticed occasionally this map crashes. It's like pretty rare. We've only seen it a few times, and only with less like more than 5 people-ish kind of thing. But it does happen, so there's definitely some issue, but I have not figured out what it is. The best game mode for this map is definitely King of the Hill, or like Slayer or Slayer Elimination. I found all 3 of those were super fun. You can play Capture the Flag on this map, but you should be aware that like it becomes impossible pretty quickly. You're gonna have to, if you want to play Capture the Flag on this map, you better put it to like 1 flag to win. Because that's the only way you're actually going to like end the game. And yeah, you know, as usual, it's just a pretty good little map. Let's move on to the next one. There are 4 maps, of course, so we will just talk about them kind of in order. Not really, but you know, a little bit. I've been showing this map a lot already, but the village map was the first map I did, and it's not bad. I think it has some issues with it just being so small, but I don't really have any complaints about it. Like, it's a fun map. I wish it could have been bigger, but this was as big as it could possibly be within the game engine. It's probably the least optimized of the 3 maps, or the 4 maps, because I just didn't, I was trying to figure out how to make it work at the time. But it's still optimized enough that you don't have any like serious issues with it. Sorry, I'm like having some water because I'm talking a lot. So I think one of the big things is that like the capture the flag on this map, the flag stand is on the 2nd floor for the one team, which leads to some funny issues with like I don't know. I think capture the flag is super fun on this map. I think Team Slayer is fun. I think regular Slayer is fun. I think this map actually is the map that's best for like any game mode. This is like the most, like every game mode works on this map. We played Infection once or twice, and Infection was pretty funny because the zombies can just like cut through the walls and get you. Yeah, I would say this is like the most like middling map. It doesn't have, it's not super good on any game mode, but it's also, but it's still fun on any game. It's like, it's kind of good for everything, but it's not the best map. I think it's probably the coolest looking map in a lot of ways because it looks like a Minecraft village, which is kind of fun. But there's not much else to really say. Like it has the chest in here, secret chest. I do kind of like getting up on the roof of this house and that house because it gives you a big advantage. Like you can just be up here, sneak around, like break through the ceiling and get people who are inside. That's fun. But yeah, and there's of course a little just a little thing in the distance. I probably haven't talked about this much, but I was very lazy with this shit. So this is all like custom modeling. I didn't import this from Minecraft. I just modeled this by hand, and I was like so tired after modeling this. I was like, I'm not gonna complete any of this shit. So this is like all anything that's not directly visible is fake. Is ultra super fake. I guess that's not a Minecraft map. That's a angle. Like this beach just kind of goes flat after a while. All the water is just like this depth and nothing else. This water's not even real. It's fake water. And also none of this is real. I didn't have time to like, I didn't have the time or patience to like make this real. So it's oh yeah, I can't even get out. There's a soft ceiling now. It's really hard to get out of this map. Yeah, I just can't do it. No, okay, I can't, if you get out of the map, there's no collision. It's all fake. I've cheated you all. It's just like this underneath. It is a black void of infinite darkness down here. Don't come down here. It's not worth it, I promise. Yeah, you know. That's that map. Next up is Lockout. So this was the one that probably was like the most annoying to build because it was the most like visually complex. I think the funniest thing about this map is the pieces. So I used naming schemes for most of the project here, and I gave up at this point. So if you take a look at like wood, like I have like block, bookshelves, chest, crafting table, house big balcony, house big fence, like these descriptive names that tell you what part of each component it is, so that I can just look at it and be like, that's the house's floor, that's the house's balcony. I said fuck that. I was so tired. I went and did on stone, if I could find it. There it is. I went with this naming scheme, part 00, part 01, part 02, all the way to part 72. I was like, because this map, there's like not much reuse anyway. Like every piece is unique because this map is like really specifically crafted. And this map actually, we designed it in Minecraft. So with the village map, I just did it from memory. I was just like, this is what I want. I laid it out and made it. And the Spleef map was the same. I just modeled it in 3ds Max just by hand because why not? But this map, we actually opened up Minecraft on a server, me and Patokia, and we built this map in Minecraft, counted the blocks with World Edit to make sure it would fit in the game engine, and then I went ahead and like actually modeled it in. and like built it like piece by piece, and each piece was built individually. It's very, like I said, it was very time consuming. If I were to do more maps, I would probably write a really complex automation system, but writing automation for this would be just as hard as doing it by hand to some degree. But for example, this is like a single piece when it loads. Like here's one singular piece of the map. It has a collision layer, a visual layer, and a physics layer. So like that's the collision, that's the visual, and that's the physics. So for stairs, obviously, and this piece right here is actually this piece right here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's probably it right there. The reason we did physics like that is because, well, Master Chief can't actually walk up a Minecraft stair because it's too high. So I just put ramps on them. It's standard shit for a game engine. But yeah, this map is. I think this is probably the best like small. I think this is the best map for like 2 players or 3 players. This is probably the smallest map in terms of like play area because it's modeled after Lockout. Obviously, it's like a minified Lockout. Ignore the open edge. It's not real. Don't worry about it. I do love, actually, hold on, just as an aside, this particular error, it looks like a constellation, I swear to God. I call it, it's like it's the portal leak constellation in the sky. I love it. It's my favorite thing. It's so dumb. But I just, I don't even know why, because there's nothing wrong with that geometry. It's totally fine. I think it's just the game engine having a fit. But yeah, no, this is like, I think this is a very solid Slayer map. Just like it's like Lockout. I mean, if you like Lockout, you'll like this. We put the sniper in the sniper spot so you can snipe people. My favorite thing is making holes in the wall to snipe through. Oh, that's... Yeah, well... I was going to do that, but then the game murdered me. Because, once again, the button combinations on debug are different. So, I was going to say, you can punch the wall open and then snipe people. It's kind of fun. Being able to just melee through blocks is like a thing I wanted, so that you could just dig. And you can do a cool guy maneuver if you have the big balls. If you're Bobby Big Balls up in here. Jump like that. going from that side of the map to this side of the map. But yeah, you know, it's Lockout. It's a fun map. Everybody likes it. There is a missile pod down here for to create pain. Just make everyone's lives hell. Just break all of the catwalks, and now no one can get anywhere without falling. Or also, the worst thing you can do is break these stairs. Oh, it happened. There you go. That's what I was talking about at the start of this video. Sometimes the game engine just decides and nothing breaks. But yeah, like break these right here because people will turn this corner. This has happened so many times to all of us. You turn this corner, go up, and then you're like, and you just panic and jump, and then you go flying off the side. It's great. Yeah, you know, all this ice is also fake. Once again, I was running out of like triangle limit here, so I started just deleting the back faces. So almost all the back facing for this is just gone. Bad, very bad, super bad. But you can't see it, so it doesn't matter. It's all fake. Everything is fake. All the maps are fake. There's just sand infinitely. Yeah. It's kind of funny. I don't know. I got real lazy with the modeling on this and just started. These are actually imported from Minecraft too. These icebergs, I pulled these out of a Minecraft map using a tool because I didn't feel like trying to model this by hand. It would just be too much pain. So this was a case where I pulled them out of Minecraft and then just like deleted faces to save memory. And yeah, this map's really fun. Oh, there's also the slime block. Yeah, that's one of the cute features. And in Lockout, there's a gravity lift here, but I put a slime block down and you just bounce your way up here. It's great. It even makes the slime sound. Yeah, that's yeah. I guess we talk about lighting. Halo 3 has a really strict dynamic lighting limit. So these torches, they disappear when you get too far away. You can also break them. Like they will just like fall. It's kind of funny. But yeah, if you get a certain distance away from them, they stop glowing to like keep the lighting limit at the right level. So if I'm over here, you see they don't glow anymore. Oh, yeah, there you go. If I zoom in, they start glowing again. I cheated you all, and you didn't even notice. And that's about it for that map as well. I think we're pretty much done here. I'm going to talk about Nord's map a little bit, but it's Nord's map. I did not make it, so yeah, this is the one I know the least about. I just know he had to run light maps 100 times because he couldn't get the lighting to work. Oh, sorry. Can only have one of these at a time. But yeah, like seriously, he did just make this himself. I was like, hey Nord, do you want to help me with a map? And then he made the whole map himself, and I like barely had anything to do with it. I just gave some like I just basically directed him on how to do things and like how the systems worked and like how I was designing things, and that was about it. And his map's a little different because he went with the style of like the walls are breakable but the floors aren't. So that map actually plays a little bit more like a Halo map. It's just a Halo map where you can bust through the walls like Rainbow Six or whatever the fuck. Games I haven't played for 10. But I know very little, and I know very little about. This map also, dude, the funniest thing was the first test with this map, and Nord did not set a respawn time on the grab hammer. So this grab hammer had a 30-second respawn, and every single player had a grab hammer because every 30 seconds someone would grab this grab hammer and then go on a killing spree, die, and then someone else would pick it up, and then another one would spawn. It was just grab hammer city. So we made this have a 200-second respawn now, so that's not so much a problem. It was pretty funny. I love smashing these bookcases. All these books come flying out of them. Didn't really smash very good. It was a very bad smash. Let me try again. There we go. Books. Books. I'm so glad I took the time to just like make the books, because like that was totally a last second thing. Seriously. Actually, a lot of stuff was last second. If you notice in the video, the mod actually looks different in the video because most of the video was recorded while the mod was still being developed. And so like a lot of shader changes weren't done yet, a lot of the signs weren't done yet. It's actually kind of crazy how much stuff was last second for this project. It's a bit dumb. These doors are super last second. I legit was making these like the iron doors were originally not going to be usable on this map, but then I was like, nah, let's have doors. Doors are fun. Let's do doors. Another cool thing about this map is he did the exterior walls, so you can like go out here, and we put some power-ups down here as well. This is so hard to jump, I swear. He made this impossible. Alright, I'm gonna do this. There we go. Get this power. Oh, you can't. It's debug. You can't get the power up. Never mind. But yeah, it's kind of neat because you can. Uh-oh. I don't know why that window didn't break. This is kind of low. You can just kind of hang out on the outside of the map. It's pretty cool. You know, it's a nice little map. It's fun. I don't know as much about it. Those windows do not want to break. They are radically powerful windows. Yeah, and another thing that's interesting about this map, though, is... Ignore the... God, I hate this. Ignore the giant red. It doesn't matter. Shh. Quiet. I actually... Okay, this is actually... I'm recording this before the project is done, so these light maps are also actually... This map's not actually finished right now. Nord gave me some new light maps that I haven't put in yet, so I'll be putting those in the next few hours. But there's like all this stuff down here that's not real. It's all fake. You're being cheated. None of this has collision. This is all he imported this directly from Minecraft, and it's pretty cool looking. I do like all this extra detail, even though it's totally pointless and you cannot go down there. The way it's set up is we just have a force field over this one doorway, and then all of this is fake beyond this point. So fake. You've all been cheated so much. Why is there a yellow splotch here? Thinking the light mapper loves to do that. TNT. But yeah, it's kind of neat. It's a cool map. It's a lot of fun. This is a good map for team games. I definitely think this is a good CTF map. I highly recommend it. So yeah, I think we're done here. I think that's basically it. At least this project, the big thing about this project too is that there was this huge gap where I wasn't working on it, so I don't even remember a lot about like early development memes. There were definitely memes early on, but I've forgotten about them at this point. Uh, you know, I'm just glad it's done. I'm glad I can start working on other projects. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next just yet, but I'm gonna try and release some like short-term stuff on the second channel. I'm probably gonna update Dark Souls Remastered. Probably gonna update 20xx.io and like post some videos here about that in the next few days. I've been talking for 50 minutes. Oh man. Okay, yeah, this video is long enough. I think we're good. I think everyone be happy. Everyone enjoy the mod. I really hope that workshop support comes soon so that I can like make it easier to get the mod. Currently, when you install the mod, it replaces an existing map, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic day and sleep well, and then also have a good breakfast. Good night.